Hi, good evening, everyone. All those who can hear me, please reply with a hi so that I know I'm not talking to my laptop screen. Hi, Kritika. Guys, those who've joined, there's a poll on top of your screen asking you about what do you think is the average starting salary of a commerce graduate in Delhi. You guys can participate in the poll so that we have more opinions and a wider feedback. Hi, Shikha, Aryan, Alia, Ankur, Gurpreet. Okay, so we'll start our conversation in a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, you can fill the survey. So we've had 5 entries so far. Okay, so guys, I'm Mohit Gupta. I work with TKW's Institute of Banking and Finance, and today's webinar is on a very interesting topic, which is how to reach 1 lakh monthly salary after graduation. So before we dive into what qualities you need to reach 1 lakh monthly salary, I need to understand what you guys think about why somebody gets paid. So my first question to you is, what do you think decides the salary of an employee? So you can answer in the chat box. What do you think is the top reason, the number one reason to determine the salary of an employee? For some, it could be the contribution they're making. It could be hard work. It could be smart work. It could be the domain expertise. Okay, so Shika says it's skills and qualities. What do others think? What determines the salary of an employee? In a typical scenario in organization, so I'll tell you briefly about myself. I've worked for more than 10 years in corporate across industries, from travel to startups to education now to payments and fintech. What I've seen is two different people in the same designation also get paid different salaries. Sometimes the amount could be double as well. So I need to understand, what do you guys think could be the reason for that? Okay, so Anupam says confidence and proactiveness. Interesting answer. Kritika says talent. Yes, talent could be one of the reasons. Okay, so we'll wait for 1 more minute for more answers, guys. If you participate, we'll all learn more, and this would be better for the whole experience. So Nikhil says voice is not audible. Nikhil, I think it's fine for a lot of people. You could check your speaker and mic. Okay, Shika says video is not coming. You can just refresh it or log out and log in again. That should work. Okay, so we have two more answers. One answer says confidence and hardworking, of course. Innovative thinking, okay. Contribution in the organization, Vidisha says. Okay, so I have the answer I was looking for. Contribution to the organization. Vidisha, you're right on the target. You get paid for the value you deliver to your organization. Now, to think it in the other way, let's assume you're running a business. To simplify the conversation, let's say you have a sweet shop. You own a franchise of Bikanerwala now. Now you have other businesses, so you will need to give attention to other businesses as well. In your Bikanerwala outlet, you will hire multiple people. There'll be somebody who will be making the food. There'll be somebody who will be distributing the food. There'll be manager, there'll be cash counter people. Who will you pay the most? Of course, you'll pay the most to the person who's in charge of the whole branch, who's the manager. And you'll pay the least to the person who's contributing the least possible. For example, the guard opening the door. You will not pay them a higher salary than somebody who's making chola bhaturas, for example, right? Yummy food. Anyways, So this is about the value that you bring to the organization, which determines your salary. So let's look at an organization chart. This is a typical chart. It could be different for different organizations. So at the top of the chart, there is a CEO, Chief Executive Officer. Generally, this is the owner of the business, not in all cases, but at large, CEO is the owner of the business. Then there's manager of production, manager of marketing. Then there are different foremen. So this is a structure of a manufacturing process. Then there are sales officers. And then there are what do you call the front line, salespersons, workers who are actually working on the ground level. Now, the biggest responsibility of this organization lies with the CEO. If the company makes a lot of profit, the credit goes to CEO. If the company incurs losses, the credit also goes to CEO. So the biggest responsibility in the whole organization lies with the CEO. Hence, his salary is the highest. Now, coming back one layer down, we have a manager of production and a manager of marketing. So production is somebody who's producing the goods which are being sold. So let's say if we consider the example of Maruti cars, somebody who's taking care of Maruti's manufacturing unit is the manager of production. It could be known by different names. He could be a vice president, he could be a general manager, he could be a regional manager, but essentially this person is responsible for the entire production piece of Maruti Suzuki. Now, if Maruti is somehow able to produce less cars than they were able to produce last month or last quarter, then the fault is of production manager. And if they're doing better, the praise is also for the manager of production. Hence, if the production is doing better, manager gets paid more. Same thing happens with the marketing manager. If his team is performing well, his salary increases. If less, his salary decreases. Now, the manager, if you look at it, a lot of people believe, and this I say with my personal experience, कि manager कोई काम नहीं करता है, वो तो बस बैठा रहता है. Guys, this is the most difficult job a person can do. You have to manage people. You have to make sure the team that you're handling does the work that they're required to do. Believe me, it's difficult. Why? Because different people have different sensibilities. They have different expectations and they perform under different circumstances. So manager gets paid so that they can collaborate and make the whole team work. That's why their salary is more than sales officer. Now the role of sales officer is to manage a smaller team. It could be a team of 5 people, 10 people doing sales. So sales officer gets paid more than salesperson because they're managing a team of 5. And in some cases, they are producing results themselves. Same goes for a foreman. He's taking care of 10 workers who are producing goods. So now, this gives us a basic idea on what basis the salary is determined. So now let's talk about two salespersons, salesperson A and salesperson B. Both have the same job. They have to sell Maruti cars. One of them is able to sell 10 cars in a month. The other one sells 20. Who would we pay more? Of course, the one who sells 20 cars. This is about sales. Now, let's move to another department, which is marketing department. Maruti comes out with 2 different advertisements. One is for a newspaper, one is for a radio. Budget of both the ad is same, let's say 50 crore each. The radio ad directly sells 20,000 cars, whereas the print ad sells 15,000 cars. So the radio performed better. Hence, the pay of the person who's managing radio should be more. Right? Guys, whatever we discussed today, it's generalized. There would always be exceptions. So now we are sure we understand how the hierarchy works. Why some people get paid more? Because they're doing work which is more important. A salesperson is in the front line selling every day. A marketing person creates a campaign which keeps selling forever and ever till that marketing is being broadcasted. Then there are people in research and development department. They innovate new products. If they come up with a brilliant product, it will of course sell. Then that means they would get higher salaries because they're working on something which will give more contribution towards the organization's goals. The staff, the caretakers of the building of the office, their salary will not go beyond a point. Why? Because they're not contributing to the productivity of the company And second, more importantly, they are replaceable. Okay, so we'll deep dive into why irreplaceability makes your value increase. Now, this is a simple chart that I've drawn for you, which tells you how your salary grows. On the left axis, we have salary. On the right, on the bottom axis, we have contribution to the organization. As long as your contribution to the organization, your salary keeps increasing. Sometimes people believe just because they get older into the system, their salary will increase. It does not work like that. Unless you increase your contribution, why will a company pay you more? Coming back to the original example of you running a Bikaner wala shop, if there's somebody who's selling sweets and is selling 1000 kg every month for the last 12 months, why would there be a significant increase in their salary? So we need to understand first, to get higher salaries, to get more out of your hours of the contribution that you do, you have to get more results. Now, results can be measured in different things. For somebody who is in sales, result could be the number of units sold. For somebody who's in production, it could be the number of units produced. Somebody who's in marketing, it could be the traffic that you got to the website. For somebody who's in quality control, getting a Six Sigma could be one of the reasons. So there would be different indicators for different functional roles, but there is always an indicator which can tell you if your contribution to the organization is growing. So if you look at a typical hierarchy, the person who's the lowest, or let's say a salesperson in a Bikaner wala shop, he's contributing the least and he can be replaced. You go to a foreman, you go to a higher authority who's managing 5 such people. Now he has a different skill set. So replacing him will not be that easy. Hence, he will get paid more. So few people are saying sound is not working. It is working for most of the people. In case it is not working with you, you can try to change your browser or just re-log in. Okay. So now, let me put another question to you guys. What do you think? Let's say you are running a business. You start your dream business and you have to hire people. What is the one quality that you would want in all of your employees? What is the one quality that you want all of your employees should have? It could be anything. It could be commitment to work. It could be the qualities you suggested, like innovative thinking. Okay, so Arlen says motivation. Then there's an answer on discipline. Okay, interesting. Commitment, Shikha says. Problem solving, Vidisha says. Okay, all good answers. We need all of these to contribute. Confidence, Saksham says. We need confidence to be able to contribute. Okay. Okay, do we have more answers coming? Okay. Anku says positive thinking. We need. Okay. So now, guys, just think on it. If you needed one quality in your employee, you're talking about commitment, you're talking about motivation, problem solving. These are all good and must have qualities, but in isolation, none of them work. Okay, there's another answer, learning from previous mistakes. Great answer, but that means you will make mistakes on the job. So do you have the patience in your sweet shop for people to make mistake? Again, in isolation, these answers are good. But when you talk about a holistic approach, you need an employee who's committed to the goal of the organization. In the modern lingo, it is called you owning your role, taking ownership of your responsibilities. For example, let's say you are a salesperson for a mutual fund company. Now, there's a person you're selling mutual fund to. So your role is just not selling your mutual fund. It is to represent the company that you're working for. It is to get the intelligence from the market, what other mutual fund distributors are selling, what they're committing, what mistakes they're making, and how your organization can learn from that. That shows you're committed. Okay, so we'll move on to the next slide. Okay, this everybody would tell you, but I would like to reiterate, success is on the other side of your comfort zone. Okay, I'll take 2 minutes here to tell you 2 different scenarios that all of you could follow. Okay, one is a life of comfort, one is a life of growth. Okay, so there are jobs which are easy to do. I hear a lot of students say, come to me and say, sir, मेरे को operations में job करना है. सर मेरे को ना ऐसा जॉब चाहिए जिसमें मैं डेस्क पे बैठूं और मेरे को फील्ड में ना जाना पड़े. Guys, if the job is easy, why will you pay somebody more? गार्ड का जॉब सबसे आसान होता है. He opens and closes the gate. He doesn't get paid more. Who gets paid more? The manager, because he's managing the whole thing. He's making sure the customers walk in. He's making sure every day 9 o'clock Bikane wala is in a running condition. He makes sure the sweets are fresh. That's all his responsibility. You know what does that mean? That means him managing a team of 60 people every day. Some days he's absent. He has to instill that culture in all those people that even when the manager is absent, they do their work. So either you can be a manager and you take up challenges and you fulfill those challenges and you deliver to the organization goal. Then you grow. Now, this is a path of growth. Not all of you can take it. And you're not even required to. Some of you could be like, I want to chill in my life. I don't want to take much responsibility. That's okay too. But then you need to keep your expectations set in check. Comfort and success do not go together. It's a choice that you need to make today while you're studying, while you're doing your first job, because later it will be too late to change it. I'm not saying comfort is bad, I'm saying it's a choice. So if you want to be successful, if you want to make 1 lakh salary, 5 lakh salary, you have to get out of your comfort zone. You waking up at 9 and going to office at 10 and coming at 6, that's comfort. That doesn't work. So let's move on. I'll keep sharing stories with you wherein you'll realize how working hard pays back. Okay, so this is a growth cycle. What I mean by growth cycle is this is how you grow in your career. You keep growing when you keep learning. Okay, so these are the 5 points that you keep evolving with. Now, this journey does not start from anywhere and anywhere. It keeps going on and on and on for your entire life. Okay, so guys who are not able to get the sound till now, I will share a recording post the session is over. You can have a listen then, right? So coming back to the chart, first for most of you would be get sector focused training. Now, what used to happen 10-15 years back, you would get a functional specialization. What is a functional specialization? You learn marketing, you learn sales, you learn finance, you learn HR. Now things have evolved. Now it's about sector focus, right? You learn new sector skills, right? For example, you learn how retail works, you learn how banking works, you learn a domain. So the first thing you need to do is get sector focused training. So those of you who are already working, you need to pick a sector that you want to make your career in and get trained on it. The training could be through a program, a course, it could be through online learning, it could be through an internship, it could be through anything. But what it essentially entails is that you understand that domain completely. For example, in student at TKWsIBF study banking day in, day out. What happens after 1 year or 3 years of their program? They have completely understood how the banking fundamentals work. So what now that is something that you need to have. It could be in any domain. You want to get into digital marketing, do that in digital marketing. You want to do that for retail, for fashion, for F&B, whatever you choose. But first, get sector focused training. Now, it is not a challenge. So to become the best chef, you don't need to go to the best institute there is. You can practice at home. You can use YouTube. There are multiple resources which are available which will help you master any skill. So now you do not have the excuse of saying, I do not have enough knowledge. With the geo coming in and free videos available through YouTube, you can always learn anything. Now, what happens after that? Once you have the focus training, try to find your target profile, the right job. Now, what is a target profile? Again, I would want to break a lot of people's notion here that the most important thing in first job is your first salary. That's a misconception. I'll tell you why. It's simply because the jobs that everybody wants, they generally pay you for the work you do. They pay you less. Why is that? Because when there's a good job, everybody would want to do that. Let me give you an example of hospitality. People who do their course from IHM Pusa, that's one of the highest rated hospitality education in India, right? They start up with Oberoi's or Taj at a meager salary of 8,000 rupees per month. Yeah, that's less than stipends a lot of students make. Why do they do that? They do that because they know once they work with such big brands for 2 to 3 years, they would have told the industry that they've arrived. They would have acquired the essential skill sets which are required to run the best hotel in the world. Now, after 2 years, they directly go to a decent 4-star hotel or a good 5-star hotel at an assistant manager or a manager level. Their jump is from 8,000 to 40,000 to 60,000. They have the patience and they have the plan. So once you've chosen your sector, for example, let's say I'll talk about banking because that's up close to me. If you've chosen that you want to get into banking, and let's say equity is an interest area for you, then you need to find a job which will directly involve you in equity. It could pay you nothing. You could treat it like an internship for 2 years. But then after 2 years, you should master your job, which is the third point. Give it the time, give it the efforts, but become the master of your job. Be the best at equity. Be your best. Be better than the colleague sitting to your right or to your left. Once you do that, there's no stopping you. Why? Everybody, every bank, every NBFC, every equity firm needs good equity people in their company. They see you, they interview you, they realize you are a good resource. Why would they not hire you? It's not like they have a constraint, we will not hire good people or we will not pay good people money. All of them want good people and they have a lot of money to spend. They just don't get the right people. Why don't they get the right people? Because people are focusing on degrees and diplomas and not on the job itself. You need to master the job. Again, it will not happen overnight. However intelligent, smart you are, it takes time. It has taken time for Warren Buffett to become the Warren Buffett. It did not happen overnight. He started investing at 12 years of age. And then he became an overnight success when he was 55. So he invested good 40 years into becoming the best at what he does. So you got to master your job. Now, once you master your job, what is the next? You master your boss's job. Again, uh, this is not for fun. So the natural trajectory, the natural growth path for any employee is that they move to the next level, which could be their boss or it could be outside of the organization, which is the next 2 points. You master your boss's job. Now, what would that do? So once your boss moves up, somebody needs to fill that position. It could be you, it could be 10 other people working parallelly with you, or it could be a person from outside of the organization. Now, if you were doing your boss's job, if you were helping him, if you were showing to him that you were very keen to learn and move on in your career, he would definitely grant you a chance. Let's say you mastered your boss's job and he's not moving on. He's not mastered his boss's job. So what do you do then? You find the next target profile. The next target profile is what you would aim at to grow your career. This could be within the organization. This could be outside the organization. But you have to find and target a profile. Let's say you're assistant manager NRI banking in Yes Bank, which a lot of our students join at. Your next target could be, I want to get into HNI clients with the Standard Chartered Bank or an MNC. I want to get into high clients, handling premium clients, or I want to get into car sales. I want to sell Porsches. It could be anything, but you have to decide, okay, this is the goal I want to achieve. Then what do? You repeat the cycle. You get sector focused training. Let's say you want to sell Porsches now. You would want to learn all there is to learn about cars, about people who buy these cars. Again, this cycle will keep going on and you will keep growing. I have personally gone through this journey. So I started my career in Make My Trip as a sales executive. I would hop onto a bike, go to travel agents and sell my product. This was a very basic job, but I wanted to be in travel. I love travel and I love talking to people. So I thought, okay, sales is something I would be good at. I chose that job. I joined my target profile. I kept working. 1.5 years, I grew to be into a bigger piece. I was handling distributors, which was a bigger role. I realized, okay, now I need to become good at it. I understood travel like anything. You can ask me about anything about Make My Trip, Yatra, even the competitors. I knew everything there was to know to my industry. My boss would come to me, what is Yatra doing? Why? Not because I wanted a growth, because that became my passion. So once you master your job, then you have to master your boss's job. So because I was working closely with my boss, I realized his main task was to achieve number of, let's say, a target of 100 crore rupees. So I would come up with ideas every now and then and suggest to my boss, we could do this, we could do that, we could do this. We'll have a discussion. That's all I wanted, to have discussion, to understand his psyche. What is he thinking? What was the major plan? That helped me understand what my next role would be like. Then I moved on. Similarly, the cycle has gone for me as well as it would go for you. Now, let's talk about the most important part, the 5-point success formula that you can apply in your life to reach at higher salaries. So I reached my 1 lakh salary at the age of 28. I started my career at the age of 21, I think. It took me 7 to 8 years. It could take you less, it could take you more. It would depend on how you apply the 5 points that I'm going to share with you. So here it goes. Pick job profile over salary in first job. Guys, I'll give you 5 to 10 minutes to ask Q&A after this. These 2 slides are over, and then you can ask me any questions. Okay. So first point is, pick your job profile over salary in first job. This is very simple. You need to look at the profile of the work you're getting. Let me give you an example. Again, you're getting a job wherein you just have to sit on a desk and correct MS Word files. You will receive files, there will be some grammatical errors. You need to just correct them, and that's it. You get paid 25,000 rupees per month. Second, you get a job wherein you have to go to various companies and tell them, we will find mistakes in your website, in your content, and tell you the mistakes, and you get paid 15,000 rupees per month to do it. Which one would you want to choose? Of course, the one which involves sitting at the desk. But where do you grow? What do you do next? If you process 10 pages today, you can do 12 tomorrow, 20 maybe 1 year down the line. Where do you go from that? Nowhere. But if you go to sales, if you're going in the field, you're talking to an industry, you're selling them one solution. Tomorrow you could tell them, okay, let me create the content for you. I will create the content for you. And you could create the websites. You could be selling them anything. So the profile matters over salary. In 3 years' time, the person who was making 25,000 would still be making 25 to 30,000. The other person could be making 60. That's the difference. Now, second is go for domain specialization. This is where a lot of students get lost. They get lost in the sense they don't know what they want. Believe me, 90%, more than 90% of people, even a lot of people who talk about they found their passion, they have no passion. And it's okay. It's okay not to find a passion. If you're not able to find your passion, find the next best thing and start and try and love it. Try for it. Unless you find your passion, you can't keep procrastinating. You can't keep waiting. Okay, I've not found my passion. Let me wait for it. No, don't do that. Do something and wait for your passion to, just come to you. So pick a domain which you, let's say, hate less and make your career in it. A lot of people these days are choosing banking, they're choosing digital marketing, they're choosing data sciences. So it could be any domain, but you have to pick a domain. Why? Because once you become specialized, then you get paid more. Now, third point, and very important, especially to the people who are about to join the corporate world, stay in your first job till you master it. I'll repeat it. Stay in your first job till you master it. A lot of you would feel like leaving your first job within 2 months of joining it. Why? The pressure cooker will be on. Your boss will start hammering you. He will start chasing you for whatever. It could be even in operations. It will not be easy. If you're doing 50 entries a day of something, he would push you for a 60. Why? Because that's his job. That's why he gets paid. So you're getting paid to do something. You have to master it. How do you master it? First, you start learning it. Second, you start loving it. Third, you start executing it. So unless you master it, you do not move on to a next job. Believe me, it will happen with you. It will happen invariably with everybody who does their first job right these days. It happened with me 10 years back. I wanted to quit in a week's time. Why? Because I was told to go to the market and talk to agents, people who would not even let me in their doors. So instead of looking for an easier job, easier jobs will be there. They will not pay you good salary. Instead of looking for easier jobs, try and find ways to execute more in your current job. Fourth point, keep learning both your function and domain. So now what is function? Function could be marketing, sales, finance, HR. These are functions. Domain is which industry you are in. It could be retail, it could be a bank, it could be NBFC, it could be internet, anything. So you have to learn both of the things simultaneously. You cannot just become the best at marketing without learning anything about a domain. Why? Because there's some other resource who's been working in that domain for 10 years and who now understands marketing. So you need to be better than that person as well. Fifth, and now the most important, is have a professional online presence. When I gave my first interview, I was asked for a resume. It was a one pager which my college gave me. I gave it to them. 7 years, when I gave my last interview 3 years back, I did not have a resume. Nobody asks for a resume for a higher senior official. What they want is your name. They look at LinkedIn, they look at Facebook, they look at Twitter, they look at Quora, they analyze you basis on your social profile. If you don't have a social profile, you don't exist. So you need to have a professional online presence. How do you do that? Professional network is LinkedIn. You have a good profile there. You interact with your domain. For example, let's say your domain area is digital marketing. So what would you need to do? You would need to participate in a lot of digital marketing discussions that are happening. You need to be part of groups. You need to share your opinions on various digital marketing innovations that are happening. You might start writing a blog, but you need to have a professional presence. Now, how would that help you? Somebody who wants to interview, once they write your name on Google or they write your email ID, they will see all these places where you have contributed. Once they see that, they realize, okay, you could be an authority on this topic. Hence, they're interested in having you. And they might even pay you more because now they see you're published, you're participating in group, and you're talking a lot of sense. So having a professional online presence is really, really important. Okay, now major part of this one-sided monologue is over. I'll just tell you a few more points that you need to keep in mind to become better. First is learn, unlearn, relearn. Now you have done a lot of learnings throughout your life. Sometimes you'll need to forget what you've learned recently. So I've seen two organizations where I've worked between 2 months, wherein they were working on a totally different method. So I had to unlearn what I learned from the previous organization and relearn the method that they were following. So you need to be agile. You need to be open to learning new things. Second, find the job you love or love the job you find. Now, this is very important. Not everybody, as we discussed, is able to find their passion. If you're not able to find your passion, find something and try to love it. It might not happen. Anyways, it will not happen overnight, but it could happen. And you have to push yourself for it. Become irreplaceable. Now, you're not paid for your degree. Forget it. I see a lot of, especially a lot of MBAs that I've hired across my career. They have a different belief that because they have done MBA, they've earned themselves, they put themselves on a pedestal. Your degree does not matter to anybody, especially to the organization that you've joined. What matters is your contribution. How are you contributing to your organization's goal? How are you making your boss's life easier? That's what matters. So you need to forget about your education. Once you're in a job, you need to learn. Fourth, sales is everything. Now, I cannot undersell this point. Sales is the most important thing that you can do in your life. The most influential people in the world, they're still selling. Donald Trump, Prime Minister Modi, they're still selling themselves. Why? Because that's what you do day in, day out for people to trust you. And when people trust you, they transact with you. When they transact with you, you achieve your goals. So you have to be able to sell. You have to be able to sell to your parents what you want to do. You have to be able to sell to your teacher why you were not present in your class. Everything. You have to sell to your brother I should watch movie A instead of movie B. That's the most important bit. Now, always think bigger picture. Why instead of what? So this is not said enough. A lot of people ask, okay, what do I need to do? Everybody asks that, in fact. Nobody asks why I need to do it. Let's say you join a new organization. You have to understand what they're doing and why they're doing it. Why is really important because that tells you the goal of the organization. Make My Trip wanted to have 10,000 hotels on board by the year 2011. That was the goal given to my team. Now, instead of just starting work on it, I asked my boss why. There was an answer. We were about to list on NASDAQ, which is the share market in US. So now I knew the motivation. That motivated me even more to produce, right? So you have to ask why. That will always clear more concepts for you. Okay. Last pearl of wisdom. Nothing can be more important than a successful career mentor. So a lot of students face challenge. I faced this challenge because nobody in my family had worked a job. I was the first one to do it. So there was nobody to guide me. So what did I do? I started asking my papa, my uncles, what job should I join? How should I go for a job? So what was my mistake there? I was asking people who have done business their entire life on how to do a job. Now, that's my mistake. I asked the wrong person the wrong question. It's not that their intent was wrong. Their intent was right. But they were not the right authority to guide me on a job. Similarly, when you're making your career decisions, when you're making your job decisions, don't ask your friends, don't ask your friends' fathers, don't ask your siblings. Look for somebody who's already at a position where you want to be. If you don't have them in your immediate circle, you can always chase them on LinkedIn, on your social network. And I see a lot of people around me who are happy to do that. We are doing this seminar for the same reason. I do it for the same reason. You can always reach us for this guidance. You can always find people in a circle who will guide you. So this is really important, that you find somebody who's successful and you chase them on how you can be successful, on what you can do to reach where you want to reach. Okay, guys, this is all I have on the webinar today. These are my contact coordinates in case any of you wants to have any interaction, any questions. Meanwhile, I'm open to questions here. Any questions you can put here on chat, and I would be glad to answer. Okay, so the survey result. Okay, so a lot of you will discuss survey while you guys put up your questions. Okay, so I have a 4.35% people believe that the salary of a commerce graduate is less than 15,000 per month. 30% believe it is between 15 to 20,000 per month. 52% believe it is 20 to 25,000 per month, and 13% believe it is above 25,000 per month. Okay, so in Delhi, the average salary is around 16,000 rupees for a commerce graduate. I'm talking about a regular college graduate. Somebody who's done a BCom from SOL only will get even lesser. It could be a 12 to 14,000 rupees per month starting salary. Now, there's nothing wrong with it. All the newspapers that you read, all the articles you read of the starting salary, not all of them are correct. Why would a company pay you 40,000 rupees per month when you're not contributing anything? You need to go to naukri.com and see what basic level salaries are on offer. It's not more than that. So most of all, you need to get your expectations set right. I started my first job at a salary of 16,600 rupees per month. In 7 years, I could reach 6 times my salary, 6 times. So that is a CAGR of around 86%. Okay, so now we have some questions. Sir, how to change the mindset of the parents that are doing a diploma? We will be getting a high package. Okay, so Anupam, I would dissect your question in 2 parts. First of all, you don't need to change the mindset of your parents. You need to prove to them that what you were saying is right. How do you do that? You do that by getting a good job. Now, getting a high package. What is a high package? So you need to realize, I'll come back to the first slide. You get paid for what you contribute to the organization. Let's say you get hired by American Express today. They make you the CEO. Will you be able to contribute to them? No, of course not. Now, what do? You first have to make those skills wherein you get paid more. So instead of trying to convince your parent, have a roadmap, try and stick with it and achieve it. Okay. So Shika Suman asks, how to stay motivated and contribute more and more. Once you have your goals in front of you, once you know what you want, it becomes really easy to be motivated and contribute. This is a cliche, every book says it, and I will repeat it. Pick a piece of paper, write 3 things that you want in your career. Three, just three. It could be for next 1 year, it could be for next 3 years, and put that in your pocket. Keep that with you. Whenever you are lost, whenever you feel demotivated, just open that page and things will start making sense again. To contribute more and more, you need to learn more. The desire to learn, the curiosity. There is no bigger skill for a career than curiosity. If you ask the right questions, you will start learning. Okay. There's another question. What was the basic salary in IT information technology by PGDBM MBA? Okay. So from the facts that I know, an MBA could start at a salary of 15,000. He could start a salary of 1.5 lakh per month. It would totally depend on the candidature, not on the degree you hold. So IIM also have a lot of people who don't get hired. Just because you've gotten selected into an IIM does not guarantee your job. Similarly, if you make it to so MBA right now has 5,20,000 seats in India. Out of those, only 60% get placed. Average salary is below 25,000 rupees per month. You need to keep that in mind. Okay. Sir, how to apply for banking jobs after graduation? They don't hire graduates. So this is not a problem with banking. This is a challenge with every function. Why? Because there are lakhs of graduates in the market. No company wants to waste their time in interviewing hundreds of people when they have people who have done, specialized education. That's why you'll see at TKWs, we have banks lining up to hire. Why? Because the students have learned a domain specialization. Anyways, you don't need to do a full-time program. You can go online, you can get domain knowledge and then apply for these banks. Even if they still don't hire you, you need to look at a specialized training or a full-time program. Okay. Ankul asks, what should we choose between a great brand and a good job profile at an average firm? So if I were to make a choice between a large firm and a small firm, I would always choose a small firm. Yes, the smaller organization. The reason is simple. In a smaller organization, I will have to do more work. I will not be asked to do the same work again and again. Instead, there will be a wider scope. So I would do 10 different things, which would mean I'm learning 10 new things, which would mean I would grow faster. So between a brand and a smaller firm, I personally would like to start with a smaller firm. Now there could be different opinion. I have a lot of friends who want to work with big firms and they're really happy at it. It totally depends on your attitude. Sir, what we have to choose for MBA or PGDM to become career successful? Okay, nothing. You don't need to choose MBA or PGDM. If you look at the successful people in this world, not even 10% of them would have done either MBA or PGDM. MBA or PGDM does not mean success. Success, I've just shared with you the path of success. All of you will get a emailer within 2 hours containing this webinar that we have done. You can have a listen again and try and understand the concepts that I've shared with you. The degree does not matter. The diploma does not matter. What matters is you. How much are you able to contribute? Do you think an MBA will make you a bigger contributor? No. MBA enhances your skill set. It does not make you acquire new skills. Okay. So guys, we are nearing the end of the webinar. If anybody has a new question, Sanya, you can reach out to me on my contact number, or you can email to me if you have particular questions. I'll be more than glad to assist. So goes for you, Siram Sethi, if I got your name right. You want to make a career in CS. After my graduation, I join a job or bank or corporate is making a CS. Okay, so CS in itself is not as lucrative, but more lucrative when done in a banking or a finance setup. Reason is simple, because you need to have a domain specialization. India already has more CS than required by larger corporates. In fact, now the demand is picking up. But if you do your CS along with another education, which focuses on a banking or a finance sector, that would definitely get you good opportunities. The first CS that I interacted with was in my last assignment, which was with PayU. He was assisting the CFO then. His job was most difficult job in PayU. He would come at 9 when I walk into the office. I leave at 8, he was still there. But I could see that he was growing, he was learning. I'm sure he must be at a manager or a senior manager position now. So career in CS is a good career. I suggest you do it along with another program. Just a CS might not be enough. Why? Because there will be hundreds of other CS fighting for the job that you're trying to do. So you need to show them that you have a competitive advantage. Okay, guys, any other question before we conclude this? It's been great interacting with you, and I hope I was able to assist some of you in your career decisions, and you can reach out to me in case you need any assistance with your career. Thank you so much.